I gave the Phoenix hive some honey from the other hive just 2 weeks ago. Let's see how they're doing. So the first 3 frames, which were empty 2 weeks ago, are still empty. Let's see what they're doing with the honey I gave them. Okay, it seems about the same as what it was 2 weeks ago when I put the honey in here. I'm glad that it's not gone. That's certainly important. I do see some of the cells here are empty, like they've actually been eating it. That's both good and bad. I'm glad they're eating it, but that means they needed it. There's still a lot of honey left. I'm not terribly worried. But you can see they've actually been eating the honey. Yeah, you can see the comb that they were building between the 2 different frames, this stuff sticking up here. It doesn't do anything for them. I don't know why they're doing that instead of building out on the frames. The last 2 frames are completely empty. They have not started building on it at all. One trick some beekeepers taught me is something called checkerboarding. That's where you take an empty frame like this one and you put it in between frames that have comb. This encourages the bees to build out the frame that's in between the frames that have comb. Let's see if it works. For the top, I'm just gonna checkerboard this one frame in between these 2 frames that are filled with honeycomb. After I check out the brood box, I might do the same down there. This honey super is stuck on tight. Oh, that's heavy. Let's see what they've been doing. Still empty. I guess they've started, but this is what you call wonky comb. It really doesn't serve any purpose. This wonky comb is going to be scraped off so they can start fresh. Another trick the beekeeping community has taught me, these plastic foundations aren't always accepted by bees. And it could be the reason for things like wonky comb, or if they're just not building at all. Something that beekeepers have taught me is you can take some wax and you can rub it on these frames and it makes it more attractive to the bees for them to build out. Look at all that healthy brood. You can see inside the cells there, you can see the larvae too. Those curled up white balls, those are new bees. Hey babies. There continues to be a lot of brood. There's also a lot of pollen in there. Seems like a fair amount of nectar too. Maybe I was worried last time for nothing. There she is. There's my queenie. Still safe, still alive. Still making babies. Good job, girl. Keep it up. Still lots of bees, still lots of brood. All right. A bunch of nectar now. I think they're doing okay. Again, they're not really building out good comb. Just these little blobs over here. They haven't built anything. This hive hasn't built anything on new frames. I'm going to rub these with some beeswax and hopefully that'll encourage them to build it out. I think for the brood box here, I'm going to employ the trick some other beekeepers have told me about, which is called checkerboarding. These 6 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they all have honeycomb. 5 of them came from the nuke and 1 of them came from the other box when I was really worried about the new queen. To checkerboard, I'm going to put an empty frame in between these productive frames. That should hopefully encourage them to build out on those new frames. But first, I'm going to put some wax on it. That should encourage them even more. Let's see if this works. There's now 3 empty frames that I've rubbed beeswax on that I just took off of the other frames that were producing wonky comb or burr comb on the bottom where it doesn't belong. And I've rubbed it on here to encourage the bees to build out honeycomb the right way. Now I'm going to put these empty frames in between the frames with the honeycomb in the checkerboard pattern, and hopefully they're going to start building them out. I'll check back in a couple weeks to see how they're doing. I think this makes them mad, but I really want the bees to get off of the side of the box so I don't squish 100 of them. Oh, that's heavy. Well, that inspection of the Phoenix hive went pretty well. I see that the new queen is continuing to make brood as she has been. That's been great. And the last time that I inspected this, I was worried they weren't really making honey and that they might starve. But this week it seems pretty much better. I do think they've eaten some of the honey that I've given them, but they've also produced some of their own. I'm a little less worried this week, but I switch back and forth. Each time I inspect it, I'm worried, I'm okay. I'm worried, I'm okay. We'll see next week how that goes. I'm really curious to see if they build out on those frames that have been empty for quite a while. I've rubbed the honeycomb on there and I've checkerboarded it, and I hope those 2 strategies that were given to me are the secret to all of this. We'll check out the Phoenix hive next time on Faewood Acres. Take care, everybody.